Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing wonderful tonight. I wanted to talk a little bit about tarot cards and divination for the beginners. There are a lot of schools of thought on this. Everybody has their own kind of unique rules and regulations when it comes to tarots. And so, depending on the tradition that you learn and who you learn from, you're going to be told a different set of rules. And so, I'm trying to cover two schools of thought. So you can perceive whichever one you want as more accurate or more, distant as you wish. The tarot deck, right here, is used for divination. It is a very highly structured deck. It has your major arcana and your minor arcana cards. It has 4 suits, such as your wand, your cups, your staves, and your swords, or pentacles and swords here. Anyway, when you are new in paganism and you are learning about so many things and you're watching these videos, you are going to see a lot of people having a lot of decks of cards. There are people that I have seen that are doing videos where they're opening up 2 or 3 different decks of cards at a time, and it's odd to me. You see, I'm on the school of thought where you have one deck, you find a deck that connects with you, that yells at you, that says you got to have me, and that you feel comfortable with. And that is the deck that you work with. You see, my beliefs are the more different decks you have, you are splitting up your energies, your connection. You need to have that connection to make a tool your tool. So one lady that I have done the research on, she has done a lot of videos, and she has I think it was 23 different decks. Well, it's kind of like, okay, let's say you have $100, okay, and you got this $100 represents your energies, okay, and if you have one deck, you get to put all of your energy into all $100 into that one deck. But if you have 23 different decks, you are roughly putting in just over $4 only into every deck, because you're trying to work with every one. You're trying to develop a connection with everyone. And I think that is a flawed concept. But the tarot deck is highly structured. You can use, when you're just learning about it, you can use any deck that you want. The Rider-Waite deck has been around for decades. It is kind of like the most traditional deck you're going to find. And so if you can afford to get one of those, but it's kind of harder to get some of these more expensive decks, I use the Druidcraft tarot deck myself. And so some of these decks can cost a pretty penny, and if you're on a tight budget, it might be easier for you to find like a Rider-Waite deck and to work with, and that is wonderful. Grab it, learn from it, because it does not matter what deck you have, the cards are going to have the same value. Right here is the Two of Cups for my Druidcraft deck. Now, the Two of Cups has the same message no matter what deck you have, because it's about the symbol and the numerical value. Okay? So you don't need 10 different decks to become to learn how to do the tarot. Okay, now the next thing is about energies. As I was talking about, this is very important to me, and I will explain this to you. If you believe in the sacred connection, this is a tool for you to do divination work with, you don't want people touching your deck. That's the way I am. Now, I have had my tarot cards read a couple times, and I have seen it done a few different ways, and the one I agree with the most, well, I'm going to start with the one that I kind of don't agree with, where the person that was reading the cards handed me the deck and told me to shuffle until I felt comfortable. And their idea was so that, and while I was supposed to shuffle, I was supposed to think of the question that I was wanting to ask the deck. And I disagree with that, because if this is a sacred tool for you, then nobody else should be touching it. But if you're having every person that grabs your deck, touching it, working with it, you're getting a lot of different energies on your deck, and that is kind of like diluting your deck, and I think that's wrong. The one lady that read my cards, what she did was she shuffled the deck, and she told me to cut the cards just once. And while I was to put my hand on the deck and think about what I wanted, what to ask, and I was able to cut the cards once. And then she did the reading. And that was okay, but I'm still touching somebody else's deck. And so I disagreed with that. But then another lady, she did it the way I do it now. And that is, she put their deck in front of her. She then put her hands palms up in front of her, side by side to the deck of cards, and told the person that she was reading for to put their hands palm down onto hers. And then she put her thumbs over their hands, and they talked. And what she was telling them was, okay, I want you to think about your past, and think about some of those important moments in your past. Think about it for about a minute, and that's what I did. And then she says, now I want you to think about your future, what your wishes are, what your dreams are. And all the while, I'm supposed to keep my hands in hers. And I did that for about a minute. Then she took her hands back, and she told me to place my hands palms down onto the table and leave them there throughout the whole reading. And then she took her hands and she shuffled the deck, cut it once, and proceeded with the reading. I did not touch that deck of cards, but she was saying that she was collecting my energy into her, getting the vibe off of me, and then putting that vibe into the deck. And I think that is the ideal way to do a divination through a tarot deck. Now, when you're new, it's kind of confusing probably with the tarot deck, because there are so many cards, there are so many meanings, and you're wanting to memorize them all. But just no matter what, when you're first starting off, you're going to grab the book, and that's fine. But learn your cards, try to memorize what each card means. The great thing is that there is no wrong answers when you're doing a tarot reading. You can have a test. You can grab 5 pagans that read the tarot deck. You can take the cards out. You can do any type of spread you want. And you can ask those 5 pagans to read the cards. And because it is a perception, how you visualize the cards into your head in relationship with all the other cards gives you your own unique reading. It's not saying that one is wrong, it is how you interpret the cards. So, starting off, don't be pressured about trying to get it right, because there really is no right or wrong answer. It's how you feel when you see the cards in front of you. So like I said, this is the Six of Swords. Beautiful card. I love this deck. Its artwork's wonderful. It has a set meaning, okay, but its relationship with all the other cards changes the meaning. How this card affects another card and another card is all about how you perceive it. And you see, the problem that they have is that your personality, your outlook on life affects the reading. If you're an optimist, a pessimist, nihilist, whatever, it's going to change how you view the relationships between the cards. You might like the person, you might dislike the person that's across the table from you. That's going to affect the way you read the cards. And then you have certain cards you like and dislike. And so when you are young, you're new doing this, and you have been told by so many people to shun negativity, to stay away from evil and darkness and blah, 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 blah. This card scares the shit out of you. It's the Death card. And so if you're not familiar with the tarot deck, divination, the Death card, you're just going, death, oh my gosh, how bad. Death card is one of the best cards you can see in a tarot deck when you're having the reading. Death is the stopping of something. This is change. Change can be a wonderful thing. Never fear change. Yes, we can have a bad change, but we can also have a wonderful change. Something bad in your life could end. And if with this card showing up, it means that something bad that could be going on in your life could be stopping, and that your life will change towards the better. It's all about perception. So when you're starting off, don't get scared. Go with the flow, and don't be afraid of the cards and what they could mean. Have a friend or two and do some practice readings on them, people that you can trust. Now, when you're first starting off, there are going to be temptations. There are people that I see online that are selling their skills. They do the tarot card readings online. They got the Etsy accounts and all that. I oppose those ideas. I really do. I don't see how you can do a reading online. I think you should do it in person, not online. But that's me. That's my opinion. But when you're first starting off, you don't have the experience and the insight like you would, after several years of practice and studying. I'm not the greatest when it comes to my tarot deck. I do a lot of different things, and so I believe that you need to be practicing the tarot deck, the kind of the informal pagan time span of a year and a day, before you try to make money, sell your services, because until you put that much time into it, it is a lot of guesswork and smiling, and not the gut, the intent, the instinct, that's missing. So when you're first starting off, don't try to sell your services and all that. Be true to yourself. If you know you're not ready, don't put yourself out there. Okay? Take the time and learn. And don't be afraid. Okay? So everybody, I hope this helped everybody or somebody out there. So everybody take care. Be at peace.